I'm gonna take these hits because I'm the only one with armor besides Raven.
It might bounce you out of the thing. Nice.
Hello, this here is my No Hope Sniper deck that I have been running since its most recent patch and the change to the cards. This is a sniper deck that uses the sniper, but also the secondary to kill commons and mutations fairly well. With that, I recommend for this build here, before we go into it, you try out using the Phoenix. The Barret also works as your main sniper. And then with this, having the Magnum as your secondary is what I would recommend. Many people like the Tech 9 and the Glock Auto, which is great. But for this build, I think the Magnum has something to offer that the others don't. So, now going right into the build here, we have it on the left side. It is starting off with Copper Scav Money Grubbers. Very important for No Hope. The economy just makes everyone's life so much easier. It prevents death spirals, and it just is the most effective economy cards in the game right now. So definitely highly recommend taking them in all of your decks. Now we have Admin Reload next. This is what allows us to be great at mutation and common killing at the same time as we go and fire all the shots out of our sniper. Then we can switch to our secondary and kill some commons, and then we can go back to our primary as it reloads, get some more hits in, essentially having no downtime at all, which is incredibly strong and allowing you to just keep on pumping out that DPS. Now we have Confident Killer. 15% damage over the course of a round for free. This affects everything from bashes to razor wire to your gun damage. Highly effective card. Highly recommend it in all damage decks, as it's one of those other damage multipliers. Now we go into Down in Front. I think Down in Front is an incredibly powerful card. There's been many times where we've been in garbage situations and I've only been able to protect my team because I have Down in Front. Else I'd see them just dying out in front of me. I don't want that. I don't want to see that. Instead, this here is a card that allows you to protect your team. It's a card that allows you to shoot through your team. And with that comes not only a DPS increase for yourself, but also your teammates. And it's an incredibly great and safe card that, in addition to it, gives you a little bit of survivability, plus 10 health. Not bad. Next we have Cold Brew Coffee. A very good all-rounder card with reload speed, aim speed, weapon swap speed, and use speed. We're really going to be making the best out of all these stats except for use speed, but use speed is situational, and when you want it, you want it. So with that, like the reload speed, that's going to help with the rechamber speed, and also the reloading time with our guns. In case you didn't know this already, the snipers, the bolt-action snipers, and the pump-action shotguns both increase their fire rate with reload speed, so you really want to have them in those bolt-action snipers or pump-action shotguns. Next, we have aim speed. We love aim speed on snipers, that's great. Weapon swap speed, we're really going to be needing this for this build. And then use speed, it's fine. It's really nice, though. Next, we have Marked for Death. Mutations that you ping are highlighted and grant your team a 10% damage bonus on them. That's absolutely massive. Another damage category which you love to see. Next, it not only affects you, but it affects your team. So consider that not only a 10% damage multiplier upon yourself, but upon the entire team. And that's amazing. And not only does it give you visibility too, so it's an incredibly great card. Highly recommend it. I think all No Hope runs should have a Marked for Death on the team, probably on the sniper. Now we have large caliber rounds, 7.5% damage bonus and 200% bullet pen. Mostly taking this over silver bullets for the bullet pen, but it's interchangeable between the two. I flip-flop myself. Recently, I've been starting to like large caliber more, as there's been many instances where I've been penetrating through multiple specials, and This here allows you to do full damage to these specials that you're penetrating through, and it's like, you know what? More free damage, a little bit less bullet damage, but it's really making up for it with the fact that it's useful in those situations where you need to hurt multiple mutations at a time. That's great, and I think it's pretty valuable. Next we have Patient Hunter, the highest damage card in the game when fully stacked up. After only 2.25 seconds, the bullet damage increases to 30%. Now, just be aware this says bullet damage, but it is not the same damage category as large caliber rounds. So it's a 1.3 multiplier in that, and it's really good. Many times here, like when you're focusing down a special or a boss, the stuff that needs the Patient Hunter stacks to really like stack up against it, this is like where it comes into play. Those damage stacks, they are massive, and they will come in and just start wrecking house against these things that are big and tanky that you're going to be aiming down sights at for a while. Next, here's a card that I highly recommend everyone on the team has. It's Ammo for All. Ammo for All is 10% team ammo capacity and 3.5% team damage. Stacked across 4 people, which I highly recommend. It's 40% team ammo and 14% team damage. That is nuts. That is essentially just a free shredder stack or a free confident killer fully stacked up for the entire team at all times. Plus, it gives 40% team ammo. So, it is really good. Like, you should be running this in all of your decks with your team. As a side note, if you have 3, it's still worth it. That's 10.5% damage and 30% ammo capacity. That is still just barely above the ammo-specific ones, like Stock Pouch. And on that note, Stock Pouch is our next card. Stock Pouch gives 30% ammo capacity for snipers and 10% damage with the sniper rifles. It's pretty good. Extra damage to sniper rifles. We're not really taking it for the ammo. We're mostly just taking it for the fact that it's another damage category, damage multiplier with that. And we have Glass Cannon. Unfortunately, this card is bugged, and instead of doing minus 30% health, as it says on the card, it does 30 health reduction. So if you're looking to try out Glass Cannon for the first time, now is the time to pick it out, see if you like it, see if you can handle it. But the upsides it gives, plus 25% damage, is massive. Absolutely massive. It's its own damage category, of course, and with that, when I was running the calculations, I believe the jump here was from 220% damage approximately, all the way up to 270% damage. So this is absolutely massive. It's giving way more damage than you think, as long as you're stacking other damage cards, and the downside is rather minimal, I personally feel. Next we have Hyper Focused. Massive damage card, plus 50% weak spot damage. For the downside of very little, it's minus 40% move speed while shooting or melee attacking, but, I mean, as a sniper, are you really doing that? And even when you are firing, you're not firing a full auto gun unless it's a Tech 9, but I don't recommend the Tech 9 with this build. It's just a really, really good card, and I'd highly recommend it. I think it should be in all DPS decks. Now, for a bit of mobility, we have Run Like Hell, plus 12% move speed and plus 15% sprint speed. For the downside of where you lose it when you get hit for 3 seconds. I mean, if you're getting hit anyways, you're being slowed down by the hit, so it's like not really an issue in my book, so I don't think it's that big of a dealio. But if you'd like, you can swap in Mad Dash. Good on you, but highly recommend Run Like Hell. I think it's just a better card. And finally, because of how it was changed this patch, it's made it into my build, Reload Drills. Plus 20% reload speed and 25% weapon swap speed. So, extra reload speed, faster fire rate with the sniper rifles. That's really good. We want that. In addition, it gives weapon swap speed. That gives us 50% weapon swap speed on our snipers and our secondaries. So that really allows us to prevent the sprint lockout. For those of you that are not aware, when you are firing a bolt action sniper, it has a sprint lockout to it immediately after firing, but you can cancel that in one of two ways. The first way is to run a card called Run and Gun. That just allows you to do it for free, functionally, only taking up one card slot. Or you can do a swap out. You can swap it to another gun so that it finishes the sprint lockout before it would normally finish. It's a little bit more janky, it's a little bit more mechanically complex, but for higher level players, the ones that are like really, really wanting to do this, I'd recommend giving it a shot. I also am still a huge fan of Run and Gun. I think it's very good, and if I was to toss in a card into my deck, I would probably toss in Run and Gun. It's just so good. So if you are just going to be trying this build out, what I recommend is get used to the swapping first, toss in Run and Gun, maybe remove Run Like Hell, or if your team isn't running it, Ammo for All, or maybe even something else that you don't really like Down in Front, if you're not a big fan of that. But just toss it in, work with it, try and get used to the feel of the deck and how it is to snipe, and then swap and run. And then after that, once you feel like, okay, I've got this, then you can move over and start doing the swapping. See if mechanically you like doing that. If not, that's great. Run and Gun is a really underrated card that I think people should take in their sniper decks. Else, I mean, doing that swapping, that's really card efficient, but it's going to come with that downside of where it's mechanically harder and there's a tiny sprint lockout related to your swap speed. Now, we're going to go into the calculator. So here I have the build. If you take a note over here, has wide mouth magwell. This is assuming that you're on Jim, which I highly recommend as the cleaner. I think he should be the cleaner that you're running with. Next we have just the build put in here, and the sniper. I recommend the Phoenix for this sniper build because the DPS within the time that it's firing is greater than the Barrett. And since most of the time we're going to be swapping to reload, we don't have to really worry about that reloading time. Next, we have a compensator as our barrel attachment. Highly recommend, just allows for the fast fire rate of the Phoenix to be controlled. Next, we have an extended PMag. That's the extended plus damage mag. With that, I would also recommend trying out just a Can of Whoop-Ass, Motherload, Less is More. If you have access to Tunnel of Terrors content, that'll be fine. Or essentially any of the mags will work out as long as it's like mag size or reload speed. You'd want those plus damage ones. Or if no one else wants it, which I find shocking, extended fast mag comes out, I believe, a little bit ahead here. So right now we're at 395.8 weapon DPS. Extended fast, 415. So that's a difference of 17. Well, 16 and a half. So with that, that's a little bit of a DPS increase. Nothing much. But still recommend it if you can get your hands on it. Now we have the scope. Is personal preference. Pick one that has a weak spot modifier, so that means 2x or 4x. And then if you have access to it, getting the sharpshooter's monocle is nuts. That is like probably the most broken attachment in the game, I feel. Now for stock, this is non-negotiable. It has to be the swap speed stocks. So with it, it's just going to make your swapping time so much faster. It's going to reduce the sprint lockout time. The hardest part of this build is the early game, where you do not have a swapping stock to help you out. So highly recommend you beg, borrow, and steal to get that swap speed stock, because it's your bloodline, it's your lifeline. So with that, going into the pistol now, the pistol being the Magnum. So here we are. I recommend for the Magnum having a laser. I prefer the laser just because it allows you to hip fire it. Magazine, you only have a few options. Just take a fast or a fast damage mag or whatever it is. As long as you have large cal, you should be penetrating through stuff. Scope, pick whatever you want. Doesn't really matter. And then stock. Here you can choose whatever you would like. If there's extra going around, a swap stock is nice. It does help a little bit, but it's nothing crazy. Also, a move speed stock. Those are pretty nice when you want them. I wouldn't take an ADS stock. I feel like that's just a bit silly. It doesn't really make sense to me. I think these are like the worst stocks in the game, but that's just me. But anyways, that is the showcase build for snipers. Feel free to go and take it, and if you like to see it in action before trying it out, I do have Twitch footage, Twitch VODs of this on my Twitch. It is twitch.tv Tiberius_the_Roman. Here, let me pull it up for you here. There is my name right up there. If you feel the desire to go and just watch those, see how it works, feel free to do so. And thank you all for coming. You have a good one.